Hey everybody, what's up? This is Tim with today's SE. I hope wherever you're at today, you are doing amazing, and thanks so much for watching. So the title for today's clip is Hold the Vision and Trust the Process. And I want to talk to you about one of the really most important things in getting to where you want to go in life, and that's creating a vision of where you want to go and then holding that vision almost to the exclusion of everything else, and trusting that when you do that day in and day out and are persistent at it, whatever you visualize is going to come to pass. So, oh gosh, about 10 or 15 years ago, I used to belong to the local YMCA, and being a bike racer, I was always trying to jump on this glamorous stationary bike called a Wind Racer. And there was a competition among a bunch of the local guys to see who could post the fastest 1 hour time. And I remember one day, I broke the records for everybody who was riding a bike. And you know, not only was there a certain amount of fitness needed, but probably one of the most important things that allowed me to do that was I visualized in my mind the speed that I needed to hold for the entire 60 minutes. And I closed my eyes, I turned on my music. I remember I was listening to Guns N' Roses, and I cranked them up, and I just held that speed in my mind, 22, 23.5 miles an hour, whatever the case was, right? It's a stationary, so it doesn't really correlate to the road. But I just held that number that I knew if I could hold that for the entire hour, I would hit that goal. And anytime something else came up or any other thought, I blocked it out of my mind, and I just started to repeat that speed to myself, and I held that image, and I held that image, and I held that image. And when I opened my eyes, not only did I beat the goal, but I beat the previous guy's best by more than 1 minute and 10 seconds, and he was totally shocked. Another example of this is a guy from the Bible in Genesis named Abraham. God promised Abraham and his wife a child, a son. That might not seem like a big deal, but when God promised Abraham the child, Abraham was almost 100 years old. Now, when you think about that, I know we're having kids now in our 40s and 50s, some women, but 100, totally unrealistic, totally impossible. And everything in the world, all the evidence out there said there's no way that this is going to happen. And Abraham's wife even didn't believe it, but the Bible says that Abraham believed God, and he held on to that vision of him having a child to the exclusion of everything else that was going on. So he didn't listen to the voices of other people. He didn't listen to the voice inside his own head. He locked down on that promise and that picture of him having a child, and bam, they had a child. So when you set a direction, whether it's a short-term or long-term goal, you have to build a vision of your success. You have to build a picture, and then you have to live in that picture and hold that picture in your mind as much as possible. And then you have to turn off everything that comes against it, because if you share your vision a lot of times with other people, they're going to tell you all the reasons why you can't, and all the reasons why it shouldn't happen, and you can't do it, and it's impossible, nobody's ever done it, yada 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 yada. And a lot of times the people who are closest to you will be the least supportive. So you got to learn to shut those voices off, the external critics, and you need to learn to shut the internal critic off, that voice that goes on inside your head telling you that you'll never do it, that it can't happen, that you don't have what it takes. You got to lock down on that vision, and you got to hold it. And what happens is, once you hold that vision and you start to practice it, it will come to pass. Maybe it takes a day, a week, a month, a year, it could take a decade. But if you hold that vision, that picture with persistence, and you don't give up on it, and you don't let other visions come in and dilute it, or doubt, or fear, or worry, you will, without a doubt, get to where you're going. When I was in my early 20s, I did a vision board of the things that I wanted to do by the time I was 65. I did almost all of it by the time I was 38. So I created a new vision board, and I found that those are ways to drive those images into your mind that are just super powerful. And when you get that image in front of you and you hold it and you practice it, it comes to pass. It does. However, if you let it become diluted with external competitors, either through people or through your own thinking, it's going to evaporate. And the biggest thing to get control over that is to start to discipline your mind and your focus. Recognize when you lose your focus and your vision starts to slip, and either through a trigger word or something visual that reminds you, get yourself back on track, and practice it and practice it and hold it and hold it. Because like Abraham, if you do, you're going to conceive and you're going to birth that vision. And just like I did on the bike, you practice that vision and you shut other things out, you're going to get to where you're going. So hold the vision and trust that when you do that, whatever you're holding is going to come to pass, positive or negative. So get the negatives out, hold on to the positives, and you can do and become and go wherever you want to. So shoot big, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you're going to land in the stars. Tim from the LV, wishing you an awesome evening, awesome day. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.